Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization. We're on an expedition to Colorado. We are bigfooting for a week on the east side of the Grand Mesa. We're staying on the Grand Mesa and we're going all the way east to Hotchkiss. I consider that area on the east slopes of this giant mesa. There's a Bigfoot sighting in the area that brings us in, and we Bigfoot here annually, sometimes twice a year, because of the plethora of Bigfoot sightings in and around the Grand Mesa of Colorado. This Wolf Park area near Hotchkiss reminds us a lot of one of our favorite Bigfoot expedition locations, where we find a lot of footprints here, vocalizations, and so forth. And so we spent 3 days out of our week-long expedition here. Let's go into Wolf Park, Hotchkiss. I'll give you the Bigfoot sighting report that motivated us to come into this area and take a look around. Here it goes. In the fall of 1994, I was hunting deer with friends north of Hotchkiss, Colorado. This area was called Wolf Park. I'd never hunted this area before, but my friend had grown up in the area. It was the September muzzleloading hunt, which runs from the second to the third weekend of the month. We had drove in quite a ways. We hunted the morning, and I had seen nothing. About 9 to 10 a.m., I had spotted a bear up higher, so figured we had better move to a new location, for the bear may have spooked any deer in the area. We walked down the trail to our truck and left the area. The time from seeing the bear until we left was about 20 minutes. The bear was heading northeast. We drove southwest down the mountain about 30 to 45 minutes. When we came around the corner of the road, it overlooked Wolf Park and a hill on the south side. My friend and I saw them at the same time. He slammed on the brakes, and we bailed from the truck. We both started glassing two of the creatures standing in an opening. They turned and started looking at us. That amazed me because of the distance. It was quite a distance away. With the naked eye, you could make out the size of the creatures, which between that and the fact that they were standing up made us stop. We looked at them for 3 to 5 minutes, and then 3 small ones walked out of the draw the parents had came from. They were about half the size of the parents. The creatures were jet black, and you could see the arms and legs, torso and head. They started moving back to cover when a white pickup truck came down the road below us, which was about 75 to 100 yards from where the largest one was. The truck came to a quick stop for about 10 to 15 seconds and then took off like a bat out of hell. The creatures disappeared into the brush. We drove to the spot we had seen them and looked where they had gone. The slope was pretty steep and real loose. The dirt was so loose you could see that with each step they slid, so I could not find a real good print. I had to jump in order to reach from step to step. The brush was thick in this draw where they had gone, so we did not go looking for them. We left them and went home. We talked about it for a week or two. It had gotten us excited, but we never told anybody about this. I tried to bring it up one more time a few years ago in a conversation to my friend, but he avoided the topic. The only other person I have told is my wife up until now. This happened on a partly cloudy day between 10 and 11 a.m. The area has pinyon pine and scrub oak everywhere from 5 to 20 feet high. Here's the follow-up interview. It looks like the investigator wants to remain anonymous, so here goes his report. 2 of the 3 witnesses were interviewed. Witness 1 is an experienced hunter and a member of the military. He said the Bigfoot family was at least 600 to 800 yards away across the draw and downslope from his position. The first one we saw, I have to say, was a male. It was the biggest of the bunch, standing out there about a quarter of the way on the top of the dirt slide or old tailings. He was looking at us, which kind of caught us off guard. Then we saw another, smaller one, which I imagine was the female. It came out of the brush about 10 to 15 feet. After a few minutes, the male started moving up the hill. Then 2 or 3 young ones came out of the draw. He said there was no question in his mind about what they were seeing. I've hunted for years, and I've seen about every animal you can see. When I jumped out of the truck, I knew what I was looking at. I was ready to do a jig on the road. I was so excited. Soon thereafter, he said a pickup truck appeared on the road below the witness and slid to a stop. He speculated that the driver would only have been able to see the male, as the female and the young were downslope in the draw. He slammed on his brakes, stopped for about 5 seconds, then took off like a bat out of hell. He must have been 50 yards away and to have seen it from the waist up. The witness said when they drove down to where they saw the Bigfoot family, they found large tracks on the hillside that dwarfed his size 10 foot. They had to be at least a foot longer than mine. They were in loose dirt, and they slid. I had to jump from each step to each step. Since publishing this report, a second witness was also interviewed. He said that he and his wife also got a chance to look at the creatures through binoculars. Witness 2 said he only saw 3 individuals, not 5. They were upright, and their arms hung to their sides. They never went on all fours. They walked upright and were very skilled. They went down a hill. It was very, very steep and made of loose shell and adobe dirt. Their tracks were slid marks. They covered that bald face probably from the top to the bottom and did it at a pretty good clip. They covered 500, 600 yards, walking at a good pace. The strides were very long. Witness 2 said he identified 2 apparent adults and 1 adolescent. Because of the distance, he was unable to discern facial characteristics, but clearly identified a large head and wide shoulders on an upright body. The thing is, we all agree on what we saw. There were no trees, no obstruction from view. We were up on a high ridge overlooking this. There was nothing between us. The contrast between them and the grayish-brown dirt was a high contrast. Archery and muzzleloader season coincide in Colorado. Primitive arms hunters must wear blaze orange. Archers do not. The witness said, in his opinion, it was highly unlikely that the 3 figures he saw were archers in full camouflage. It would have to have been 3 men in gorilla suits, but we didn't see anyone else up there. The only reason we were down there is we weren't finding much luck up high on the deer, so went down low. In the winter, that's where we hunt. One of the most puzzling things about this report, for me, has been the vegetation in the sighting location. The incident occurred at a lower elevation slope where the habitat transitions to an arid desert-like shrub and sage landscape. However, conifer and aspen forest characterize the top of the mesa above the sighting location. Witness 2 speculated that the presence of the hunters at higher elevations may have caused this family group to head down slope, where they came out into the open and were spotted. I was a complete non-believer. I thought, this is a wives' tale. This thing doesn't exist. Then I was shown otherwise. I do believe it's a missing piece of the puzzle we don't have. This is Kelly Shaw narrating. That was just an awesome report, amazing. It brought me down off the mesa. I usually Bigfoot near the top of the mesa because it has your quote stereotype squatchy habitat that they brought up in the report. But on the south side of the Uintas of Utah, where there's just dozens and dozens of Bigfoot sightings, I notice where the habitat transitions from the alpine to the high desert. There's a lot of Bigfoot sightings there. The bear love those areas. They get the best of 2 worlds. They get the food and the animals and the habitat of 2 different types of locations that come together, or 2 different types of habitats that come together. And this area, Wolf Park, down on the east slopes of the Grand Mesa, reminds me of the south slopes of the Uinta Mountains, where the 2 habitats come together. So the Bigfoot has a lot of options. So if there is indeed a clan or a family of Bigfoot that live in and around the Grand Mesa, this would be a wonderful spot for them to come down and get juniper berries, to get pine nuts. The large sagebrush is a great food source, and then all the animals. The deer and the elk just love these kind of areas, so if the Bigfoot's eating the deer and elk, or eating what the deer and elk are eating, this is a great habitat area. So we're going to continue to visit Bigfoot sighting locations on and near the Grand Mesa of Colorado, searching for Bigfoot. I hope you enjoyed. Oh yeah, we ran across a lot of turkeys and stuff in the area. Don't know if Bigfoot eats a turkey, but if they do, they're here. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this Bigfoot sighting report and a look at the surrounding location where the report happened. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching.